Hey guys, this is Russ with Cahaba Tunes, coming at you with another video. Watched a video this morning by Tim over at University of Vinyl, and a really good video on 10 audiophile quality records that you can find for under $10. And so I thought it was a really good idea, and I just thought I would piggyback on that, and just wanted to show you 10 or so records in my collection that just came to my mind that sounded really good. I think you'll see a common theme to what he mentioned today, that you'll see mastering engineers that pop up on multiple albums, that just they all sound really great. So we'll start off with the classic. This is my beat up copy of Off the Wall, of course, by Michael Jackson. Just a great album. His first solo date and his debut album. But this record, when you open it up, mastered at A&M Recording Studios in LA, mastered by Bernie Grundman. So, very small print. Probably can't see that, but just a great sounding record. I think the key on this is to look for the produced by Quincy Jones on the back. That kind of indicates an earlier pressing there on the outer cover. As far as in the dead wax, I don't think there's anything that's discernible to be able to tell that Bernie mastered it. He typically didn't put his initials in the dead wax, so just look for that. But a great sounding pressing there. Another classic, Toto IV. And these guys are perfectionists, great studio session musicians. And so they're going to hire someone good to master their record. So we'll look here on the inner sleeve. And mastered by Doug Sachs at the Mastering Lab. Absolutely one of my favorite mastering engineers that gets a bit of talk in the VC, but I still think is underrated. But just a classic record that sounds awesome, that is it's pretty easy to find for under $10. Classic record, Foreigner. Double Vision, and just a great record. Nothing on the back of the record jacket indicates where it was mastered or who mastered it, but if you look in the dead wax, it has sterling in very small letters. You really have to pretty much squint to see it. Also has a heart and a pogo. But Sterling, the mastering engineer, the head mastering engineer during this time in the late 70s, early 80s, was the legendary George Marino. And he, very much like Bernie Grundman, didn't put his initials in the dead wax. So as long as you see that Sterling, you know that that's probably George Marino who mastered it. But just a very dynamic sounding record, and just a classic from Foreigner. Close to the Edge by Yes, another classic. Again, no indication on the back of the record cover, and nothing in the gatefold to suggest who mastered it. But if you look in the dead wax, it has a GP that's etched in there, and that stands for George Piros. Just a great mastering engineer who mastered some of the first Led Zeppelin records. Actually, kind of a tip is, if you can't find the RL, a pristine copy like Tim over at University of Vinyl, if you can't find the RL Led Zepp 2, look for a copy that has GP in the dead wax, and sounds really balanced. I don't own a copy myself, but I know Patrick over at the Vinyl Archivist did a shootout. It's been last year sometime, and a really balanced sounding record. Probably not quite as dynamic as the RL, but it's a great sounding version of that record if you can find it. That one probably goes for $25 to $40 versus the couple $100 or more you'll pay for the RL Led Zepp 2. All right, another great sounding record. It's not talked about too much in the VC. Simply Red picture book. This was, of course, his first album released. This group, Mick Hucknall, and just a great debut album here. And this was, says on the back here, originally mastered by Aaron Chakraverty at the mastering room in London. So not familiar with him, but just a great sounding record. Holding Back the Years has always sounded awesome to me, and to hear it on vinyl is just fabulous. So if you get a chance to pick this up, you should. Probably could find this for $5 to $10 out there. And I just wanted to show, as an aside, another Simply Red record, A New Flame. However, on this one, when you look in the inner notes, mastered by Bernie Grunman at Grunman Mastering. Hard to see there because it's kind of gray on the sleeve, but this record sounds awesome as well. So just great musicianship in the band of Simply Red and Mick Hucknall. Just a great kind of blue-eyed soul singer that, primarily in the 80s and 90s, that had quite a bit of hits that just isn't talked about that much in the VC, but wanted to bring up those records there. Another 80s classic, Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. Just an awesome record by Tears for Fears, and also a great sounding record. This is a very clean copy. If you look here on the back, it says mastered by Greg Kalibi at Sterling Sound. So Greg worked alongside George Marino at Sterling, and that's what I've learned. Typically, definitely look for your favorite mastering engineers, the ones that are notable for doing good work. But also, if you look for the mastering location, typically you're gonna get a pretty good mastering job if it's a well-known mastering location. Those guys didn't hire slumps in the mastering department. So just an awesome sounding record there. Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. All right. Another group that's not talked about really at all, Sea Level. This is Richard Lavelle's band. He played with the Allman Brothers, and this is On the Edge. Really great record, and I picked this up for a few bucks. It's been several years ago, but this is just a great sounding record. It's pretty much southern rock with some soul, and it's also jazzy. But here on the inner sleeve, mastered by Bernie Grunman. So again, just an awesome sounding record, and just a very underrated group that should be looked into more. All right. Styx, Equinox. What a great record by Styx. I think one of their best, and definitely a great sounding record. If you look here on the back of the cover, mastered by Doug Sachs at the Mastering Lab. Again, Doug Sachs, a legendary mastering engineer that mastered some classic rock titles. So great record. This is from top to bottom, just a classic. So another great sounding record there. Here's my beat up radio copy of Sade Promise. Just a classic from Sade. And this particular record is engineered by a guy named Herbie Powers Jr. And he's a black mastering engineer out of the Frank Wayne Mastering Lab, I believe up in New York. And in the dead wax, kind of there at the bottom, probably won't be able to see that, but it has mastered by Frank Wayne Labs and has his name in cursive. But not many people know about Herbie Powers Jr., but he mastered a lot of soul and R&B records in the late 70s and in the 80s and in the 90s as well. But just an awesome sounding record, and just love Sade and just the sound that her and her band produces. Very jazzy, and just great musicians in the band. So great sounding records you can find for $10 or less typically. All right. And last but not least, Journey Raised on Radio. It's a very clean copy that I found at an antique mall. But if you look in the inner sleeve of this, you'll see that it's mastered by Bob Ludwig. And so just an awesome sounding record. I think one of their truly underrated records, and actually one of their best. But came out in 86, 87. But just a great record, top to bottom, and just another great sounding record. So hope everyone has a great day out there. Happy Masters Week if you're into golf. I know I'm looking forward to watching it later on today. But take care, and I'll see you next time.